Sorry about that, card ran out, but as I was saying with this one did the same thing 2 nights in a row. You know, it threw off what looked like just slightly over 1/3 of the liquid. After coming out at night time and seeing that it was okay, you know, I came out, you know, a few hours later and it gone. And it did this 2 nights and I refilled it up with some soda water. Went through another day, another night, again it was okay at night time, and suddenly I came out in the night and it was gone again. So whether we got some sort of will-o'-the-wisp sort of reaction happening there, whether we're actually going to get it with our bucket as well, you know, suddenly I'll come out one night and we'll find those holes, you know, sort of pushed through or blown. I don't think you want to put that in quotes, in the sand, you know, little poke up holes or something, where we had little will-o'-the-wisps or something. I don't know. Anyway, I've set some of these up. Had a bit of a surprise in this one. Looks like it's losing its colour. Oh yes, by the way, it's now the 6th, so we're between the 5th and the 7th, and this one here is absolutely, we'll go and check in the sunlight. Check that we are on spot colour. Yeah, spot colour. Absolutely no pinking, no greening as far as we can see. Nothing that's obvious. So, you know, nothing that's absolutely obvious. So, looks like the phosphorus pathway is definitely something to do with phosphorus. And maybe if we can work out what it is, what the phosphorus is actually doing, we can actually solve for it. But it's very hard solving for something you don't know what it's doing, you know, what its modus operandi is. Anyway, looking at this, setting in quite nicely, all its stuff. So yeah, so that's all right. So maybe we're going to have to set up a bucket that also has some of this stuff in it. I don't know. Combo. But I've set these up, so we'll see how they go. So far, I'm getting, I've got a surprise there, and we'll see how they go, sort of thing. I'm expecting this one might actually be the best. This one's chucking out the bubbles like, oh, look at that. I mean, you know. So we are getting places, you know. We can get some really good activity going, and hopefully if that goes super red or something like that over the next few days or something. It used about 3 days. Well, I noticed with that one over there, it took about 3 days for it to redden up, in quotes, if that's a phrase. So if that one and maybe the one even better goes, you know, a nice deep red colour like that in about 3 days, we'll know we're getting pretty close to the end of the pink organism or the red organism side of the journey, sort of thing. And whether we've actually got 2 organisms or the red one can actually go green or whatever, I suppose that's what's going to be work over the next 6 months. But so far, no cyanophytic explosions out of anything here. But then again, we don't know what the phosphorus is doing. If we can solve for the phosphorus, we might find if we adjust for what we think is going on with the phosphorus and go back and do some of these again, but adjust for that assumption, suddenly we might get the explosion, and then we might also be able to improve these even more. I don't know. That's what the scientific method is all about, you know, repetition over and over again, and getting to that precision point in the learning curve where you do things so many times you know what you're doing. Suddenly when something goes awry or astray, it jumps out at you and you have that sort of aha moment. And yeah, I was looking at some of those perpetual magnet sort of keeper things online the other night, and I'm thinking, have they just, if you did it round the other way, like you had 2 horseshoe shaped perpetual motion makers or magnet makers or whatever, aren't you inducing another magnet in the keeper? I mean, I used to get all those old-fashioned books, you know, that used to get, you know, talk about permanent magnets, you know, and they always used to talk about the keeper. You know, to keep a magnet strong, you've got to have a keeper on it. And I'm thinking, a keeper? It's already many people in the past, thousands of years ago, were calling this thing a keeper. And maybe they were calling a keeper for a specific reason, not just that it keeps a permanent magnetic over a long time. So I think maybe they'd come across this phenomenon in the past. Maybe this bloke had also read in an old book about this phenomenon. It's not actually his idea, I don't know, but give the person some credit where credit is due. He seems to has got onto something, because I saw someone else using some compasses to show that the field actually is maintained as well, as far as we know. So you put the keeper on and you turn the power off, and the compasses are still focusing in the direction of the magnetic field lines, even though there's no current flowing. But this is in wrought iron, supposedly. So I might want to reproduce some of those things. And then, of course, when you change the polarity, you make the keeper again, but in the opposite direction, and the compasses change direction. But when you take the power off, keep their direction, which is very interesting. I don't think the idea of calling it a perpetual motion keeper device is quite strictly true, but I can see what they want to draw interest to it, because there is something pretty amazing going on there. It's something really subtle and fundamental, because you're keeping a magnetic field. You've made a magnetic field using the electromagnetism. But while the keeper's on there, you're keeping the magnetic field. And someone else has shown online, he's kept one for over 2 years, 2 years and 2 or 3 days or something. He kept one, and he's kept a video log of this thing. And when he pulled the thing off, he actually got a current to flow through some LEDs to actually flash, sort of thing. So you do actually, when you break the keeper, you do actually have a collapsing field, I suppose, which can generate a current, and therefore a flash of light in these. And what I did notice is the flash of light was brighter in one direction than the other. Whether that's just a subtlety of LEDs, I don't understand, because I'm not really that deep into LEDs. There's a few Japanese people over in Japan. The one who actually made the true white LED. He probably would have a better idea of what's going on there. But maybe someday soon, someone's going to make